What's going on, everyone? In a shocking turn of events, the Milwaukee Bucks fired their head coach, Adrian Griffin, on their first go-around. And it's surprising because the Milwaukee Bucks are the 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. They've won 30 games. They're 30-13 right now. They're on a 2-game winning streak. They are tied for the second best record in all of basketball. And it's just really surprising that he ended up getting fired, right? But then if you kind of look at the Bucks, it's really not that surprising. Like, they're winning because they have Giannis playing like historically great, and then Damian Lillard, he's been good. Like, he's had his good and bad moments. He hasn't been the Damian Lillard that we know, past Damian Lillard, but he has had his games and his moments where he has been. But Milwaukee just really struggles, especially without Giannis. They're really slow. They're not good defensively. Even their offense just struggles at times. Again, Damian Lillard is just not the same Damian Lillard. And I think the idea is like, hey, we want to win championships. We have a very small window with Damian Lillard. Giannis could still request and ask out. Just because we signed him to a new extension, he could start pouting and stuff. Like, we can't play around. Let's go move the coach. Let's go get a guy. And it looks like Doc Rivers is lining up to take over that head coaching job. Report came out even like a couple minutes ago, right before I was about to record this video, that they're currently talking and working on a deal. So it looks like that may happen. But because of this has caused a ton of Laker fans to be screaming, why isn't Darvin Ham fired? Why is Darvin Ham still here? Right? What is going on? Why isn't this happening? Now, a couple reasons. One, Milwaukee is taking a huge risk right now. They're in the middle of the season. They're playing well. Now you're going to fire a coach. You're going to bring in, let's say, Doc Rivers, which I'm not a big fan of Doc Rivers as a coach. I've expressed it. Not going to get into it too much here, but I don't think Doc Rivers is really that significant of an upgrade. I don't think he's really an upgrade over Budenholzer, right? But nonetheless, they got rid of Bud. Now they got rid of Adrian, and now they're very likely going to hire Doc Rivers. They're running a big risk of now Doc's going to come in. He's going to try to get everyone to forget everything that Adrian did. He's going to implement his own things. He's going to try to change the culture, try to get them in line, all that stuff. And you run the risk of having a really bad slump that maybe you don't recover from. I'm not saying that they're going to miss the playoffs or anything like that, but I mean, like, with Adrian, maybe they're a team that wins a championship this year. Now you're bringing in Doc. Yes, there is the potential that you win a championship, but you're messing up kind of all of the momentum that has been built thus far, right? Now, you look at the Lakers, and I understand it's like, well, what momentum, right? The Lakers have been terrible. Darvin Ham has been terrible, right? Like, what do you have to lose type thing? But who's out there that makes sense, right? I know people have thrown out names like Mark Jackson. The Lakers aren't bringing in Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson's probably never getting a coaching job. Doc Rivers is now off the table. You're not hiring Budenholzer. Like, if you dislike Darvin Ham, you're gonna hate Bud, just because, again, everything Darvin Ham does is from Bud. All of it. The defensive schemes, the offensive schemes, the rotations, the lack of timeouts, everything. Right? So again, it's like, what are your options that are out there? The Lakers have had, 4 coaches in like 6 years? Something like that. Right? Like, the Lakers, you still have to pay all these people. You still have to pay all these guys. Darvin Ham has 4 years or 3 years left after this season, right? And I'm not saying that they won't fire him eventually, but it's like, what's the point? There's nobody that you're in love with. Maybe a Steve Kerr or something like that becomes available in the offseason. But you fire Darvin Ham, you go bring in, let's say you do bring in Bud, and he just doesn't work out. And it's like, now what? Now you're firing him. Like, the Lakers are in a bad position. You're best to just make a trade, figure it out from there, see how it looks, see how it works. And then if you have an unsuccessful season this season, boom, you fire Darvin Ham, you go hire your head coach. Maybe there's better options in the offseason. It's not as straightforward as like you may think. And again, just because one team did it doesn't mean the Lakers should do it. I understand frustrations with Darvin Ham. He has been awful this season. He really has. He's been bad. I tried to defend him early on. I didn't mind some of the stuff he was doing early on because we're dealing with a bunch of injuries. You're trying to figure out your rotations. You're trying to figure out various pieces here and there, right? You're experimenting a little bit, which is totally fine, especially early on when you have a deep roster or what was supposed to be a deep roster, right? But now we're at the point where it's like, dude, come on, like, get it together. Right? And he hasn't been able to do it. He's had some great games, don't get me wrong. He's had some games where he's been very good, but he hasn't just consistently been able to put together a proper coaching gig, right? And look, Jeannie and Rob, they have a lot that they need to figure out, right? You got to figure out, like, what are you doing with the trades and stuff? And you want to just focus on one thing at a time, right? Milwaukee, they're already locked up, right? They're not making any huge, significant trades. They're not doing anything that's going to change the landscape of their roster. But the Lakers are in a position where they might, right? And it's like, you don't want to focus on too many things at once because that's how mistakes get made. That's how things end up falling through. Not just that, but like how many times has a coach been fired midway through the season and then that team goes on to win a championship? I'm not saying it's never happened, but it's very few and far between. More times than not, they don't have the success. Now, there's people that have like fired their head coach midseason and then they've made it to like the NBA finals and stuff, or they've made a deep playoff run or whatever, but winning the championship, right? Like the first one that comes to mind is like LeBron with David Blatt, right? Go get Ty Lue and boom, they're off to the races. But they probably could have won the championship even with David Blatt, right? So it's just like, again, it's because you got to the finals there and then all the injuries and stuff like that. So it's like how much of it was Ty Lue and how much of it was just like the Cavs were really good with LeBron, Kyrie, Kevin Love, and all the other pieces, right? So again, it's just how much of that was kind of a level of fool's gold. I'm not saying Ty Lue didn't make them better. He absolutely did. But could they have still won? Probably, right? No one would have been surprised if they won regardless. It's not like Ty Lue came in and took a scrub team to a finals and won a championship, right? And so it's the same thing like with the Bucks. Like maybe the Bucks win, but it's like, okay, they probably would have won regardless. Like, or there's a very good chance that they would have won regardless. But the Lakers, they're not in that position right now. The Lakers are not very good at the game of basketball. Lakers are not a very good basketball team right now. And it's like, yes, the idea of like, going and switching your coach, that doesn't change all of the Lakers' problems right now. Milwaukee, they're stuck. They can't go make any significant trades. They can't do anything important that could maybe change their season. Right? And they're having a good season. The Lakers, on the other hand, they're a team that's having a terrible season, and they have a lot more problems besides the head coach. So it's like, okay, well, let's solve the player issue, because that's the easiest to solve right now. You go and you upgrade and you make some trades, you do whatever, and then you ride the season, you figure it out, and then if the Lakers are still, underachieve or just bad, now Darvin Ham's getting fired in the offseason. Now there's more options as far as head coaching goes to where maybe you can land somebody significant. Right? That, to me, is just what makes the most sense. I understand the frustrations. I understand it's like, dude, like, many people don't see us winning with Darvin Ham. I mean, we just made the conference finals with them. Right? Talent trumps everything. You can win a championship with Darvin Ham if we have enough talent and the players show up and we're good enough. LeBron James and Anthony Davis are playing ridiculous. All we need is like 2 or 3 guys that can really pick it up, or maybe that one impact guy and that role guy, right? Go get like a DeJounte Murray and Clint Capella or something, right? And it's like, all right, now you got like these 4 guys, plus you still have, Jared Vanderbilt, his energy and effort. And you have, you'd be surprised what a significant trade can do for a roster, can do for a team. Again, look at the Lakers last season. Great prime example, right? Lakers were this just in the gutter team, brought in like 4 or 5 guys, and all of a sudden they're off to the races. And then they make the conference finals because you're getting new players that aren't dealing with the noise. They're not dealing with the frustrations. They're not dealing with the locker room. They're not dealing with the media and all the noise and all the hoopla. They're coming in. They're excited. They're wet behind the ears, right? They weren't part of the drama previously. They have something to prove. They want to show their old team like, oh, you messed up. They want to impress their new team. They're locked in. They're focused. They're bringing energy every night, right? They're doing the things that you want them to do. It's a different environment, So I don't know. I I think the best course of action for the Lakers, unfortunately, is to just stand pat. At least for now. Not trade-wise, talking coaching-wise. Right? You make the trades, you do what you need to do, and then you figure it out from there. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you think, get Darvin Ham out of there? Who would you hire? Again, I feel whatever your thoughts are. Love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.